What's up, guys? It's your favorite Cubic coach, and give me 6 months of your time, and I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. In this particular video, we have another client before and after video for you guys, and we're going to be focusing specifically on the feelings that we had to feel to be able to change this client's real golf swing. So if you're interested in the feel versus real discussion and how it can actually change the look of your golf swing, well, this is the perfect video for you. Let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you're too busy or you just can't make it out to our locations for lessons, Kiwi Golf Japan is the membership site for you. With over 200 plus videos of golf instruction, we have everything on the site you could possibly want. So go ahead and check out that link down below, and now let's get into this analysis. So one of the most common phrases we get from our clients is, I didn't understand how exaggerated I needed to feel to be able to change my swing just a small amount. And this is something I feel like you guys at home watching YouTube, you just don't get this understanding because you don't get to come into lessons and you don't get to feel the craziness of really the before swing and the after swing. And because you guys don't feel how different and how exaggerated they need to be able to get those small changes, you guys don't ultimately end up doing it, so your swing never really changes. So in this video, I'm hoping I can give you a little bit more of a visual demonstration of how crazy we had to feel to get some of these changes that you see in this swing, so that you at home might have a little bit better understanding and maybe by yourself can push yourself a little bit more to get a little bit better swing. So let's go take a look at the before swing first, and then the after swing, and then we're going to get into this video. So in the before swing here, really the main thing that was happening on the backswing was the club head was looping inside while the hands kind of went outside and raised. And then right around position 3, the club head starts to loop back towards the head. And then from here, because he's so crossed to the top, right around position 5, even though he's flattened to position 5, he's still too steep. And then from position 5 to position 6, he's continuing to flatten, so he's getting really far underneath the plane. And this was really kind of the stuck feeling that he was complaining about. So because he had this big massive loop on the backswing and then looped it towards the top and then looped it again on the downswing, that's 3 loops, by the way, if you didn't catch that. This is really the inconsistency move that we're trying to get rid of. So let's go take a look at the after swing and see how we kind of minimized and actually got rid of the loops. So as we take the after swing back, now we're going to see that if anything, the club head is outside the hands and the hands are a lot lower at position 2. Then we're seeing from position 2 to the top, the club shaft is pretty much consistently flattening. And then as we get to the top, we're not going to see the club head reroute towards the head. We're actually going to see it just lower in transition, which was a big, massive change, which took a long time and some crazy feelings, which we'll talk about later. And then from here, he was able to actually start to move the club head out towards the golf ball. And really, the overall movement of the club head was much simpler, a lot less loopy, and we're getting into some much better spots. So now's the time of the video where I want to start off with position 2. We're going to explain exactly what we changed, and then we're going to go into in detail the extreme feelings that we had to feel to be able to get the changes that you guys see. All right, so starting off the before swing, the first thing I want to highlight is going to be the hand height at position 2. As you can see, the hand height is all the way right up around the pec height, which is way too high, even with driver at position 2. We want to see the hand height right around pocket height to about belt buckle height is more so the correct preference. So he was obviously lifting the club up quite drastically and not adding enough radial deviation to get that club head hinging up. So hence, this is why the hands were so high. Now, the next point that we were trying to change was going to be the club head position. Now, it's out of frame, so you guys can't see it, but I think it's quite easy to see. It's really far behind the hands. So what we had to do were change those 2 points, and the feelings that we had to feel is now what I want to talk about. So in the after swing, you can find that the hand height is going to be right around belt buckle height. But the question is, what feeling did this player have to feel with the hands to get to that position? Well, the feeling that we were working on was we were actually trying to feel like the hands were going to be below the knee line when the club shaft got parallel to the ground. So that extreme feeling, right, that's about 4 feet lower than where his hand, oh, not 4 feet, sorry, that's a little exaggerated, about 2 feet lower than where his hands are currently. That was how much feeling he had to have with the hands being low to get the hands into the correct spot, right? So that's a massive gap between the feel and the real. And this is something that you guys tend to get afraid of. So the reason why you guys are mainly afraid of this gap is you're like, I'm never going to be able to hit the golf ball if I do this, right? That's what the first instinct is. And I want to walk you guys through this. You're not going to always have that extreme feeling gap. You know, that's going to eventually start going away the more and more you practice this feel versus real concept. You're going to become a lot better and proficient at actually kind of manipulating these feelings. And eventually you're going to start finding that your feel and real become very close together. So it's going to become a lot easier in the future to change your swing because you're not going to feel so drastic. So you're still going to be able to feel like you can hit the golf ball in the future. But in the short term, especially when this is the first time you've ever really tried to do this concept, that gap is going to be so massive that you probably feel like you can't hit the golf ball, and you probably won't hit the golf ball, and that's completely okay. You got to get over these baby steps initially. You got to put in the work, put in the practice, and then from there, you're going to find that feel and reel become closer, and it's going to become a lot easier to do. Now, as we take a look at the club head, we note that it's actually too far outside the hands. Now, this is the last swing, or maybe one of the few last swings of the lesson, so we were able to get it here. However, primarily, we were actually finding that most of the swings throughout the lesson, he was getting closer and closer to the hands, but for most of the swings, they were kind of averaging right around in this position, which is a whole lot better than the before swing, right? Because the before swing's way over here, but it was nowhere near where we wanted to be. So what we ultimately came up with in terms of the feeling was, and I'm going to draw a little line for this, we were trying to feel like the club head was way out here, and we were trying to get the club head to hit the net is basically kind of the image I gave you. If you guys can kind of see this, it's a little difficult with the screen, but there's a net right here. We were trying to feel like the club head hit the net while the hands got super, super low, right? That was the overall feeling of the takeaway. We kind of labeled it a little bit of a Matthew Wolf swing. And once he was able to get that extreme of a feeling, we actually were able to see a few swings where he got the club head perfectly aligned. And then we also got a couple swings like this one where the club head was too far outside. But the main point here is I'm okay with it being too far outside as long as it's opposite of what it currently was, and which exactly what we did. So those were the feelings that we had to have to be able to fix the takeaway. Now let's talk about the next feeling where we fixed basically that looping motion where from P5 into P4, that club head was looping towards the head. Let's talk about the feeling we had to feel to fix that. The feeling was actually quite interesting, and it wasn't really a how much feeling, it was more so a when feeling, which I think is really interesting and something that I haven't really used before with clients who have this issue, but for this particular client, it really worked out well. So for most clients, if we can just focus on how much flattening feeling we have, for the most part, that's going to get rid of a lot of this looping at the top, and if anything, fix it. But for this client, just doing more how much wasn't necessarily fixing the issue. We just continued to kind of get this looping motion. It was a little bit less than before, but it wasn't exactly like this after swing where the club shaft was lowering, right? We were struggling to kind of get that look. So what we ended up doing was we started to mess around with the win aspect of this. And what we came up with was quite interesting. So the feeling that we ultimately came up with was we were trying to feel Matthew Wolf, or basically the club shaft cross like this, all the way until shoulder height on the downswing, right? So we were trying to feel like the club shaft was crossed all the way until here, right? So in a real, if you actually did that, it would look something like these white lines. And then right around shoulder height, that's when we try to change directions and really feel like we're flattening the club as much as possible. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube, but before you guys hop off this video, let me give you some quick wrap-up points. When you guys are first starting off with the feel and reel concept, you're gonna have to feel so crazy exaggerated that you will miss the golf ball. If you don't feel like you're gonna miss the golf ball, for a lot of you guys out there, you're probably not changing your golf swing enough. So make sure, get over that baby step phase where it's gonna feel really awkward and you're gonna have this massive gap, and just know the more and more you go through the process, the more and more you use the framework of how much and when, your feel and reel will start to become really close. And then in the future, when you try to change your swing, it's gonna be a whole lot easier because you're not gonna have to feel so drastically to change the amount that you want to change. You just have to get over that initial hurdle. So if you guys can't get over that initial hurdle and you guys need some professional help, well, that's where the Kiwi Coach 6-month program comes into play. We'd love to help you out. Go click the link down below. You can see exactly what we'd be talking about in every single lesson of our 6-month program. Trust me, we can give you the shortcuts, the feelings that you need to feel, and the how much and wins, and really the framework that will work for you to be able to get the results that you want. So check out that link down below. Sign up for the membership while you guys are down there. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys in the next video.